Okay, I wonder. Um, so today we'll be talking about some of the concepts that we have earlier mentioned in one way or the other, or that needs to be discussed on. Um, I believe in you have been taught var length, length, and const. Those are the three type of variables we have. So there are more to it. They differ in one way or the other. And one thing that makes them to differ is what we are going to be talking about. Today we have talked about ternary operator. I believe everyone should no one should have a question as regards that. It's simple and straightforward. And okay, I'll also be releasing this slide, but if you have any challenge or you have anything that you are not clear of, you can always message me on Slack, or you can always use the W3 school. The material was called from W3 school. It's very simple and it's beginner friendly. And if you can't find what you are looking for, try MDN documents. There's no way that whatever you are looking for is going to be inside that MDN document or on Stack Overflow. So we talk about also anonymous function, and we talk about the latest function we are using now, arrow function. I said earlier that we should try and make research on the difference between arrow function and anonymous function. Did anyone make that trial?
Yes,
Okay, should I call
I
him?
did a little bit.
Okay, Victoria, let's go ahead.
Yeah, so anonymous basically it doesn't have a name. The function doesn't have a name.
Yeah,
That's the main difference. Then for the arrow function has arrow after the first brackets. That's what I got.
yeah. My question is not anonymous function in function generally. Like now, even in name function, that's what I mean. The difference between them. It's a technical question that it's a very technical question that you need to understand. I think I will need to share my screen. Okay. Um. Okay. This is where we stopped yesterday. Yeah, this is an example of this is the function I'm talking about. This function now. If I say function, my func like this. This is a function. This is a name function, and this is an arrow function. This is an arrow function. This is the normal function. One difference I can remember vividly is that um you can use a duplicate parameter. I think that's one thing I remember vividly. But yeah, if you are using a here and a here, it will not throw an error if I'm not mistaken. But if you come here now and use a and a, it's supposed to throw an error. Let's see. I know one doesn't take a duplicate parameter. And console. um, I'll try and run this on my live server and let's see. But what exactly I want to talk about is what we call hoisting. That's where I want to start from today, and that's what specifically I want. You can see now. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, you can.
So in line 52, okay, I'm not comfortable with using. with using this. I would like to use my brief JJ. So you cannot use duplicate. Okay, you cannot use duplicate parameter. Okay, syntax error. Duplicate parameter name not allowed. So where do we have the error? Let's see first. Line, if you look at it, it's line 52. Because the reason why, for example, now I've not called the function. I've not even called the function. Do you understand? I've not invoked the function itself. But if you look at it, this 49 to 50, I'll zoom it. I believe everyone can see. Let me just close this. We are not using it. I believe everyone can see both my browser and my console. Baraka, sorry, I was unable to be honest. I've been working on a project since morning. Like I've not turned on my system since, so I've not been able to download that extension. But I will come back to it now because I also need it in the future, so I can have it now. So that I won't forget. Now, what I'm saying here is this: if you look at line 49 and line 50, line 49, 50, it's scaled through, but this 51, the error is in 52 because we are using a duplicate. If I comment this out, if I take this one out now, if I take the first function out and I save, you can see I don't have any error. The only thing is this: if I now come to here, let me take console.log. If I want to invoke it, my func, then let me say 5,8. Let's see what will happen. It's undefined. The reason why it's undefined, it's bringing out 8. Sorry, it's not undefined. It's bringing out 8. So it's taking the second parameter. It's taking the second parameter. But all in all, it works. It didn't throw error. But if you use the normal the arrow function now, if I use arrow function here, you can see now it throws an error, duplicate parameter name not allowed in this context. If I click on this, it will show me the code. If I move this one down, you can see now it's telling me that this is my func. This is my func here. I cannot use a duplicate parameter. Well, actually, this is the first time I will even be trying. I just memorized this thing often for an interview like that. So because this is just one good interview question that you must be very, very sure about. You must be very, very sure about, and you must be able to explain yourself. So at least if you're asking that interview, what's the difference between a normal function and an arrow function? So you're able to just tell them that it doesn't take duplicate parameter. That's the only one I can remember for now. But if you Google search it, you always have one or two. I think we have like 5. The reason difference between them. But another one we are going to talk about is what we call hoisting. What do you mean by hoisting? In the slide I have here, why do you close it now? In my slide here, I'll be copying the slide again. I don't want to use this. In my slide here now, let's see what. Oh my God. So I don't want us to. So one difference is the hoisting. It's a very also all these are just questions that they will ask you. Say you know JavaScript, you cannot escape an interview. Either someone asking you, maybe you know the difference between let, cost, and var, or they ask you what do you mean by hoisting or temporary density. Especially for beginner, unless you are doing a React, interview, that's when you will not have it. But you definitely have it for any JavaScript interview. Even if you are interviewing with Google, there's some question that they will definitely ask you. If I have colleagues that have done interview with Google, there are always questions that you always expect. So one of them is this hoisting. Hoisting is the JavaScript behavior of moving all declaration to the top of the current scope. To the top of the current scope. Sorry if you can't see it very well. I'm reading it loud, or I can just okay. Everyone should be able to see now. So it's the process is when you move the moving all declaration to the top of the scope. to the top of the current scope. Now, let's talk, what do you mean by scope? Now, we have global scope and we have local scope. Are we together?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we have local and global. What is local? Local is the one that is inside. Let's just put it like this. It's in this curly braces. This, whatever I write here, if I say let x, if I declare a variable, let x equals to 5, you cannot access this. If I say console.x here, it is going to throw error because this is the scope here. This is the scope for this let. It's not moving more, it's not more than this. You can only access it within on this line 59. Anything line after line 59, you cannot access this x. So if I go to my code now and I check my console once again. So I'm having, so if I check this console again, there's definitely an error. Okay, duplicate parameter, because there's an error here. There's an error here in line 52 here like this. This one, the compiler will stop compiling it. It will not read this. It will not come here. So I have to solve this one. Aha. Now, if you look at it here, maybe I've declared X somewhere. It's supposed not to see it. I've declared X somewhere. So you can see here, I've declared X here. That's why it's bringing this. Well, I'll comment this out now. Or let me just use another variable. Let me say W. If I console dollar W here, something is happening. Okay, I will need to refresh this. It's not working. You always know if your code is not working. This is not working. Let me just use, let me restart. I prefer using the console. Well, I think this one wants us to use it. You can see it here. WW is not defined. WW is not defined, but it's a lie. It is defined. If you look at it here, it's not even, this thing is not showing that somebody have access to it. It's telling you that it's not. The only reason why you can see out of this scope is when you use var. If you use var like this, if you use var is the only one that is okay, that doesn't have problem with it. Can take anything. But if you are using const or let, it's not going to take it. So now, what do you mean by so this one is going to throw you an error. So now, what do you mean by hosting? It's moving all declaration to the top of the scope. Now, you have global scope and local scope. Suppose we have something like this. Suppose I have a function here. Oh, okay. Suppose I have, okay, let me just, since this is clear, let me just take the function out here and let's come here. Suppose I'm writing this function now. I'm writing a name function. Let's say x, y. This is the name of my own function, xy now. Now, suppose I'm having something like this. Now, let's see. So now, if I'm writing, let's say, let x. Okay, now this is how I think I've got a better explanation how I can do it. Now, I'm going to let x equals to this. Now, I'm console logging this. You can tell me what this is supposed to be without checking. What are we supposed to have for this console log? If you do it, what are we supposed to have?
Undefined.
Undefined. What if it is const? Not if we even throw error because you have to assign a variable. Now, why is it undefined? But normally this, before, we said the JavaScript reads from top to the bottom. So when it's reading here, it's supposed to tell you that it doesn't know what x is. Like this one is telling you that is an error. For it's not defined here. But why is it now being undefined? Let's just let's run it and let me just say console.log. Supposed to have done check that stuff you said. Well, I've been too busy now. Let's see what happened. It's undefined. Why is it undefined? The reason why it's undefined is because normally if I comment this out, if I remove this now, it's going to give me an error. Yeah, because let me just say the reason why we are having undefined here is this: we are console logging this. So this is how we are having it, but it's not saying this. The reason why we are having this undefined is because this let it will move to the top of this scope. Like this is how the computer will see it. This is how computer would see it. It's going to see it like this. Just like if I leave this out now and I say let's let W like this. If I come here now and I say console.log W, now it's not going to throw cannot access lexical declaration without initialization. No, please not what I want. Okay, cannot access lexical. Okay, because is here. But if you try it inside a function, I want to try inside a function. That's why. Now, if you try inside this function, it's going to give us undefined because it's going to move. It's going to move this one here. It's going to move this. If it's like this, it's going to move it from here, from this place to this place. Then why is it? Am I having everything correct? So yeah, it's going to move because you can't access it. But if it is var now, if you are using var here, var will definitely move to the top. It will definitely move it to the top. But now, there's something we call declaration. This is what we call declaration. When we say let x, for example, now when I say okay, let x equals to 5. Now this one will never give us if you console log this, it will never give us 5. It will give us undefined. The reason why it's giving us this undefined here in line 56. Where's line 56? Okay. The reason why it's giving us this error is this because it is only this x. It's only this x that is being moved to the top, not this initialization. It is only this declaration. When you do let x equals to 5, this let x is what we call our declaration. This is what we call our declaration. This is what we call our declaration here. This is our declaration. Why this equals to 5 is our initialization. This is what we call initialization. It is only this that will move to the top. It's only this that will move to the top. Yeah, because we can't declare it, I understand. It's only this that will move to the top. But this one will never move to the top. This initialization will never move to the top. So now, it's the only thing when it can, if I now say, so the best thing is just for us to move this down here. To solve the problem, we have to move this one down here like this. So that's what we mean by hoisting. It is when you move a declaration. For example, this my func now. When you are having a name function like this, it also move it to the top. Now, if I console.log, this my func here. If I come here now and I do something like this, you look at it here. We are seeing this. We are making console log of this before we even declare it. It will work. It will work. It will work. You can see it will work. But the only problem you are going to have is that it is only for function like this. So it is possible when I write function, say my name, say hello, and I'll say something like this. Console.log hello plus name. I'm putting the name here as a parameter. Now, I can call this function here at the top before. If I now say hello, Let me just say it should return. Yeah, let me just say hello here. I'll say hello here. Then I'm putting in joy. If I console log this, now, you can see now it still bring hello joy. The reason why it's bringing hello joy is that this function like this is how the computer will interpret it. This function like this, computer will take it like this and drop it beside this. So this is how it will be. That's what we mean by hosting. It is when you move all function declaration, not initialization. When you move all function declaration to the top. For example, now let's return this back here. Let me use W3 school and see what they are. So now, so that's what we mean by hosting. It moves function declaration. It's only function declaration. It doesn't move function initialization. Hosting in JavaScript. So you can see it is the default behavior in which it moves to the top. For example, now when you say this is an example now, they said x is 5, but we have not defined x here. We have never said this x, but we are not defining x here for x. If you do console.log here, console.log x here, it will work. Or let me say, because maybe we have used it, sww, xww. So this one will work. The reason why it's going to work is because this thing will move this var here, it will come like this, come something like this, and it will work. So that's what by function declaration. But the initialization will never work. It will go, it's going to, your answer is going to be undefined. So because this one here is defined here. Okay, this is what I'm saying. Now this initialization here, it will move to the top. Suppose I come here and I say console.log sw. Okay, this is what I want to try itself. Now, what we are going to have here, our lines is first supposed to be undefined. Our line. Oh, what am I writing? Our xww. I think I should comment out something so that we can only have a single work. And I can comment this out too. I don't know why I have to refresh my browser. Okay, we have this. Okay, I can comment everything here also out. Okay, yeah, this is fine. So that we won't have it clear. Now, what happened is this. When this x equals to 5, the compiler did not see. It's only this. This is how it reads this. Now, if you put this one here, now, as we have been taught in declaration, when you declare a variable, when you declare a let and var, when you say let ww, it means that what it will initialize it to undefined. It will be something like, if you write something like this, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be like this: let ww equals undefined. That's what is going to happen. That's how it will work. But now this is where we are assigning it a value. Now let me come here and now say console.log. Let me just put second. Let's say second xww. I'm going to put a plus here. If you look at it, for the line 65, it's telling you what? Undefined, because it is only moving. Okay, I can go. Let me delete this. Now, because here, okay, this is what we are saying. Now, this is what I'm saying. Now, this one here is moving it to the top like this. So it's only moving this to the top, but it's not moving this equals to 5 to the top. So now what happened is that he didn't see it here. He didn't see the value of 5 here. He only see xww as undefined. But here, after line 66, we now put from line 66, or we can also put it like this. Same thing. No. From line 66 now is where he knows that XWW is equal to 5. So it's where you know that this SWW is equal to 5. That's why we are having line 68, we're having second 5. But line 65 is going to be undefined. These are just technical interview questions that you always see. Please, do you have any question as regards this?
Yes, please. Okay, so does that mean like hoisting is like the computer or the browser behavior, like if we
So that's
automatically place the declaration to the top, or we have to do that?
it is how that's how JavaScript works on its own. You can see they said hosting is Java is just a default behavior. Any declaration you declare, it will move it to the top. Declaration, not initialization. It will move it to the top. Do we get it? So if you write it is only this let x equals to 5, and this one that is moving, or sorry, it's only this one that is moving to this 5. This one here is not moving it to the top. It doesn't know about it. That's why if I use let now, let's see what we have. There will be an issue. They say you cannot access what XSW before initialization. Now that's what takes us to what we call temporary dead zone. Temporary dead zone. There's an article here that I make reference to that I was able to use it to get it then. So you have the link there. It's a free code camp article. It's here. Now you can always see it. I'm going to share the slide. So what we mean by temporary dead zone? Now, temporary dead zone, yeah, it's a concept that, let's just say, you cannot access a variable on it is fully initialized. Let me see what I have here as my definition. You cannot access a variable until it is fully a block's temporary dead zone start at the beginning of the block scope. It ends when the computer fully initializes your variable with a value. Now, what do you mean? Now, let's see what do you mean by temporary dead zone. Now, like I said, here, for example, what do you mean by dead zone now? Let's assume we are having line 1 to line 60, line 60, 68. That's what our code is. From line 1 to line 65 is what we mean by temporary dead zone. You cannot access this SWW there. This is what we mean by temporary dead zone. I just hope you understand it once and for all. Now, because we are using let, it's only happen with less and cons. It doesn't happen with var. Temporary dead zone is a place that you cannot access a variable until it is completely initialized. Here it is line 66 that we have initialized it to be equal to 5. So anything you are going to be doing from line 1 here to line 65 here, it will be called a temporary, that place it is called a temporary dead zone. Do we get it? So now this one will throw an error here because it is a dead zone. You can never access this. What will happen is that it will move this one like this. It will take it like this. Yeah. But you will not be able to access this SW until it is fully initialized here. So if you try to access it before, it will give you a reference error. Do you have a question as regards this? So if
sorry, I have a question.
Okay, please ask.
I'm sorry, is hosting is it necessary? Since you are the one writing the code, why not just like write it the right way? Like declare it. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Okay. Why is it necessary, ba? It is you
Yes.
have to understand, yes, because you would think you will not really need it. For example, now, For example, now I can, if you say hosting is not really necessary, I can be writing a code now. For example, now I write a code here like this. I say function hello, and it returns hello. Now I'm writing another function const hello, and this one return. You really need, it's a good concept that you need to know, because you are going to be needing it. You should return hello. This one, that's arrow function here. You return this hello2. You return this hello2. Now, if I do console log the two now, before maybe now I want to access it and I want to say, okay, I now call hello here, and you don't, if you don't know the concept now, suppose as a senior developer, I can always, as a developer, anyone, you can always write something like this because you know it's possible, but you can never write something like this. You can never write it because you can see here, you are this, it is only this LO2 that it will move to the top, but you cannot access this. This is what we call by temporary dead zone. You cannot access this LO2 until you reach all these places here that you are calling it. You cannot access it. It's only here after line 67, 66, or line 78, sorry, line 76 and 78, that you can access it. So that's why if I run this now, it will throw an error. I don't know why I didn't press the debugger. Wow. Let me go back to my so that's just, it's a very important concept. You don't need to declare all your variable at the top. So there are some that most especially, though nowadays people use const to declare variable, but you can always see legacy code. You'll never be able to run away from it. You see some code that has been written long before you started coding, that it was written long before you started coding, and you need to work on it. So you have to understand some concepts. You can see here.
All right, thank you.
You can't access lexical declaration. Where are we safe? Okay, now, so it's telling you here because it's what this place. If I comment this out, let me just, this one too is also going to throw another error. Can't access, just the same issue. So that's mean by what? Temporary dead zone. It's a zone that you cannot access a variable until it is fully initialized. At line 1, any place, if I put it here, if I put this one here also, if I put it here, it's also a temporary dead zone. You cannot access it. You can see line 48 too, it's giving an error. You cannot, anywhere, you cannot access this. It is only if I now comment this out and I comment this one too out also. Why is this supposed to work? Is there any place I write it again? Cannot access lexical declaration. Yeah, because this is late. It's supposed to work. Sorry, let me check an example. Okay, now this is an example. Our var, because this var here will move to the top. But this any place here, okay, yeah, it's a temporary dead zone. Okay, that's why it's like that. Yeah, this is a temporary dead zone. That's why you are having it like that. Yes, I think they explain it. JavaScript initialization is not hosted, just like I explained earlier. When you say var x equals to 7, who can tell me what we are going to have here? Okay, what are we going to have here? If I say var x equals to 7, and I now say here console.log let me say console.log y. But mind you, if I say var x equals to 7, And then I now say, okay, let's start with var. And I say var y equals to 8. Now, if I write x plus y, you can tell me what the answer is going to be. Sorry. If I say x plus y, you can tell me what the answer is going to be. Here like this.
Undefined.
Why is it undefined?
Because it will move bar y and bar x up.
Well,
I don't know.
now let's see it. But let's do it. The code is coming here, blah blah blah. That's why I find that it has moved everything to the top. It will come here now. This you already know that x here is equals to 5. So here is going to be 5 plus, isn't it? But y here is what? Is still yeah. Y here is what? It's undefined, isn't it? That will be 5 plus undefined. So what's the answer? If you have 5 plus undefined. Okay, let's see. That's how JavaScript works. Where are we having this? Okay, I can comment this out because well, it's not a number. So that's how it works. When you add 5 plus a, 5 plus a, there's something we call concatenation. I say catenation in JavaScript. If you do 5 plus a, what are we going to have? Who can tell me what are we going to have? 5 plus a.
5A.
5.
Yes, 5a. But because we are having this, it's going to be giving number is going to be giving. This is not concatenation. We are adding it. If here is supposed to be 3, then it will give you 8. It will give you 8. It will give you 8. So now that's how it works. This is what we talk about. So this one is give you undefined. But suppose that despite this, let's now say that what if you write y equals to var y equals to 10, what's going to be the answer again? Let's say we have
15.
x plus y. Huh?
15.
I bet that should not be. It's still not not a number. You know why? It is only this one like this that will move to the top. So what's the value here? The value here is what? Undefined, because it's moving into the top. But this y still remain here. The only place where it's going to bring 15 is when if I come here and I say something like this. You know, this is how we have it before. I said, how do you have it before? Y is equal to 10. If I now say, now, yeah, var y here. Okay, if I comment this out now, it's only the second place that is going to be 15. At this place here, this y, this variable y here will come here and come here like this. It will come and initialize itself to be undefined. That's mean by hosting. It will host itself to the top and convert himself to undefined. So now, when the compiler reach here, you now see 5 plus undefined. If I go to my browser and I say 5 plus undefined, you see now 5 plus undefined. And you see 5 plus undefined is what? It's not a number. So that's why we are having this. 5 plus undefined is what? It's not a number. But once you reach here, once you reach this place now, once you reach line 84, he already knows that my y is equal to 10. So here it's not going to be 5 plus 10. That's why we are having the second 15 here. Are you getting confused?
So sorry, what's now the essence of this?
Yeah, the essence is that in hosting, it is only JavaScript declaration that is being hosted, not the initialization. That's why if you are going to be using, if you are using an arrow function, that's why if you are going to, because most of your code that you'll be writing, you'll be using an arrow function like this. You cannot access this before. You cannot do something like this. It will never work. You can never do something like this. It will never work. You can see you can't access this. And I'm also trying to explain what we mean by temporary dead zone. Do you get it?
Okay.
And
What?
sorry,
This
please,
was for
I actually
anonymous
don't
function.
Huh?
I say we need to work for anonymous function.
No, I think we are still going there. It will not work for anonymous function. Just the anonymous function is just for you to say assigning const. It's just the same thing like you are just doing here. You are moving this and you are saying a function here. Let's see if it's going to work. Let's say anonymous, const anonymous. I don't think so. So if you call this anonymous before we reach here like this, where is this hello? Let's comment out this hello first. You can see now, you can also now the same thing. That's just the explanation I'm trying to explain now. This const here is only the one that is being moved to the top. It's only this const that is being moved to the top, not this initialization or not this assignment. I hope that is clear.
Sorry, I'm not clear because I've seen some instance whereby they call out the function before declaring it. Like what
Yes.
instances are that?
Yeah, that's what I've been explaining since. That's when if you use the name function like this, function, then you put the name. How do I call it? Let's say call up. This one now, let me just say alert name function. If I call this function here now, if I come here now and I call it here, it's going to work. Okay, you can see now there is an alert coming up in my work. Named
Okay,
function.
but as long as we use variable or constants or let, it's not going to work.
Yes, if you are using because it is only their declaration that's being moved to the top, not their initialization.
All right, now I get. Thank you.
Okay. So at the end of it, they said you should always declare your variable at the top. If you are writing React, most especially, you are going to be declaring your variable at the top. But bet it, there's no way you are going to be applying for a job, especially if you want to apply in places like Google or in some place that they are going to be writing technical interview, that they are not going to be asking about hosting. There was a job I think, yeah, I was trying to apply for yesterday. If I try and share it, one of the things they wrote are these things that you must know. No, this notion. No, it's not this notion. Okay, I don't know if I have it here. But one of the topics they were asking us was that you must be able to know hosting and Clojure very well, because these are very, very important. You are going to be using, and when you are writing code, or when you are reading other people code, you would need all those things, all those topics. Your understanding will go far about understanding how they works. So now we've talked about dead zone. So it's very, very important. Why you can see now using a let variable before it is declared will result in a reference error. The reason why it's going to be resulting in reference error is that the variable is in a temporal dead zone from the start of the block until it is fully declared. So yeah, okay. I have a file on it. I don't know. I think I should close this. I have a file. I have an article on it that if you go through it, if I open it, if you go through it, it will give you more understanding of what we mean by temporary dead zone. And I can't remember the countless number of times that I've been able to have to answer the question in an interview. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
So this is a block. This is a block of code. This is a block scope. You know that what we are using before was a global scope. Now this is a block. This is a block scope. Now It's not telling you that, look at where they declare let best food, best food. This is where they initialize it, right? Now, this is where they assign the value. Now, it's not telling you from this top here till it's reach here, it's going to be what? Temporary dead zone. But here, it's going to be what? Undefined, because you know it's not initialized here. It's going to be undefined. But here now, it doesn't exist here because it has not been fully initialized here. So it is here now that you can now be able to call it. That means you can't call it on the same line, on this same line, or if you want to call it on the same line, you have to put this semicolon that is going to read here. So now you can't access this. You can't access this best food here. And after it's being initialized here, you can access this from here to here is what we mean by what? The temporary dead zone, that you cannot access it. So you can, this article is quite explanatory. You can go through it when I share it.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Sorry, sir. I don't really understand the difference between the initialization and the declaration.
Thank you. Okay, now okay, well, okay, I think it's better I should be using my console self. Now, what we mean by this, what we mean by declaration, let X, this is a declaration.
Okay.
Now, if I do something like this, if I say X here, because I have some, I have something here. Let me, because it has been, let's say let woman. I don't think I have that. Let woman. Now, it is what? Now, this thing has been what? Because it is let, it has what? It has been initialized to undefined. This is what's happened in the computer memory. I've written like this. This is what happened in its computer memory.
Sorry, it has been initialized or declared?
Wait. It has been, yeah, this is what we mean by what? This is the declaration. But what happens in the computer memory is this. It has been initialized to be undefined. So if I clean this now, I know I said let. Now, if I say woman, it's going to give me undefined. It's going to be undefined. So this is what we mean by function declaration. But if you do something like this, JavaScript will automatically initialize it to undefined. Do you get it?
Okay.
Now, for example, now this one, now this is another example. Let man equals 5. Now, this let man is the declaration. This equals 5 is the initialization. Do you get it?
Okay.
So it's only when, if you don't, that means if you don't put anything here, JavaScript will automatically have to initialize it to be undefined.
Okay, so that's more like the result of your declaration.
Yeah, so now if you say man here, it will always be undefined. Let's now come here and say man should be 20. Then if you now access man again to be 20. This is why you can reassign, but you cannot redeclare man. If I say let man should be 1, to throw an error, you can't redeclare it. Just like also const too. Whenever you have declared it, you cannot redeclare them. But you can, the only difference between let and const is that you can always reassign. You can always reassign, but in const you cannot reassign. For example, here I said man is 20 here. Then I first said man was undefined before. Then I changed it to 20. It works. If you use const, if you use const key equals 12, you cannot say key equals 13. It will throw an error because you are using const. It's only if you want to redeclare it. That was why when we were doing our this thing, our for loop yesterday, we did not use const. Nobody will write a for loop like this. I will not say const. It will never be possible. Const I is equal to 0. I is less than 5. I plus plus. I cannot say console.log. I can see when it reach one, it stop because it cannot reassign. It cannot give that high again. It cannot give it one. It can only give you a single value. Is that clear? So
Yes.
those are those are the main topic on that. There are lots. There's still what we call closure, but I felt that maybe when we are doing a project, we can always explain what's a closure because it will all these things. If we try to solve some question as regards hosting and temporary dead zone now, we'll be having a lot of issue. So we couple with that one. So our advice, there are a lot of funny questions about hosting and temporary dead zone, and you cannot run out away from it. You always have it in your work, or you always have it in your interview. Also, there's no way we can run away from it.
Okay, Isiaka,
Okay,
please,
please.
I didn't really get what you explained by temporary dead zone. I didn't really get the explanation.
Okay. Now is I will okay now. Let me use a real life example. We cannot give a child a name until he cry, isn't it? Maybe it's our own child. Is that not true?
Yes, it is.
Yes. That moment before the child cry is what we call temporary dead zone. Until you give it that name, until you give it that name, that's when you can start calling him baby joy or other things like that. If you don't give him that name, he will never if it will always throw a reference error if you didn't give him that name. I don't know if that similitude is working. So now let's go to our code now.
Sorry, sir. So if there's no declaration, then that means it's a dead zone.
If you declare it and you have not fully assigned it, that's only for let and const. If you declare it and you have not fully assigned it, that's my Web3. Uh-huh. Okay. Um, I can't find the project here. I don't have it. Okay. Okay. Let's just use our browser now. Just like I said earlier. Okay. I'm thinking we should use this example, but we can just use our console. Now look at this. Now, what we mean by temporary dead zone is this. To better if we use a browser. But now this is what I mean by, let me just open so that will be more explanatory with our VS Code. I don't have normal stuff here. So it's until you give a child a name, that's when you can start calling it. That's when you can start thinking of celebration. But if the child has not cried, you cannot give it a name. Between when you born the child and when he finally cries in JavaScript is what we mean by temporal dead zone. At that point, at that zone that he is, you can't use him for everything. You can't call him name. You can't throw him away itself. You just keep praying that the child cries. So let me just put this in my. So that's what we mean by temporary dead zone. Now, okay. Now, I'll comment everything here. I'll delete everything here now. Now, this is the block. This is a block. My globe. We know we have type of scope. We have global scope and the local scope. For example, here, this is a local scope here. This is a local scope here. Anything that happen between this place now is not outside to here. If I say let x equals 4, if I come here now and say console.log, you notice that this thing doesn't also change. I say console.log 4 and I run it. This one is not being used, but let me now run it in my HTML like this. But let X is 4. Okay, I'm saying console log 4. Oh,
We are meant to do console log X.
thank you. So now you cannot access this. You cannot access this code. This X here, you cannot get it. This is what we call local scoping. This is what we mean by local scoping or block scoping. We call it block scoping. It's inside the block of inside the block. This is called by block scoping. Now anything you write here, say let X equals 20. Now this now where temporary dead zone occur. For example, I'm saying X equals to 20. Now I'm cleaning this if that is clear. Now I'm now saying let X. Now, no, sorry, we are having something like this now. What do we now mean by temporary dead zone? If you look at it here, let me save and let's see what we are going to be having. We'll be having error. Now, what happens? I said that all function declaration will move to the top of the scope. This is how this code will run. This is how it will look at it. You take this one like this here and move it to the top here. Now, normally, in normal sense, if it's something like this, it's supposed to give us, why it's not, it's supposed to give us undefined, right? But if we now come here now, if we put it here, when the JavaScript, the way JavaScript will see that after moving into the top, it only happens with constant length. After moving into the top, then you cannot use, it will move it for you, just like var, but you cannot use that thing on it is initialized, on it is fully initialized. Now, here it is not initialized, it's still undefined, it's not fully initialized here. It's complete, it is the JavaScript that initializes for us here as undefined. This line 20 here is where, line 3 here is where it is fully initialized. If I do console.log X here, so will not give us the right answer. I will need to delete this because it will compile. Yeah. So you can't access because yes, because at this place too, waits, you cannot access X before initialization. Yeah, because that's just the temporary dead zone. This is how it's going to move here. You cannot access this until it has fully initialized it. I don't know if that is clear. Can someone hear me?
It's not clear.
Can hear it was not clear.
Not clear.
I want to add
Okay.
something.
Okay, now this let X here. This is what we have here. If you console log what we have X here, this one will definitely give us an undefined because this where it is it has been initialized to undefined like this. It's being initialized to undefined like this. Now, what now happens? Let's say we are putting, I'm deleting this now and I'm putting this here. And I'm also saying that X equals 30. Now, from here, this place is governed by TBZ. This is governed by TBZ. You cannot access this. You cannot access this. You cannot access this this variable here because it's a temporary dead zone. Despite the fact that it moved it to the top here, but you cannot access it because it's at the temporary dead zone because you have not fully initialized it. Let me see if I can get a better example.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Please, what you mean? Is it that because what you're initializing is coming after the console.log?
And what I'm trying to tell you is that it doesn't, from here now, you cannot, this Normally, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And this one will come here. This how normal. This is how the normal way the code is supposed to be.
Yes.
Now we are not trying to explain what we mean by temporary dead zone. For example, here, this is another example they use here now. At this place now, if you look at it here, this is where they are assigning part to the full Volvo. If I do anything I'm putting here, console.log, let's just write console.log console.log car name. Now let's come here also and do console.log. Now, in this place now, if you look at it here, the way JavaScript will do it is that it will take this let car name, it will take it to the top. But if you look at it, it's being initial, you are giving it a value here, isn't it?
Yes.
But it's this because this is not where the final this is not where it is fully initialized. This is where it is fully initialized. Anything you are doing between from here to this line 4, it will be called its temporary dead zone that you cannot be able to access it. So now line 3 will throw error. Line 3 will definitely throw an error.
So anywhere before the full initialization is temporary dead.
Yes, anywhere it is fully initialized. Just don't forget that it is initialized. We are giving it a value here, but this is where it is fully initialized. So all this place now, because it will not what this we already declare it here, and we have initialized it here. But at this place here, any point before this place from line 4 upward is what we call is temporary temporal dead zone. So the best way to do it is just to move this here to the top like this. And if I move it to the top now, so what we are going to be out is not going to be Volvo again, because we have redeclared it here. It's going to be giving us what? SAP. Is that clear?
Sorry, this declaration and initialization, does it have anything to do with if it comes before or after the console log?
The declaration bar?
Yes.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have, because that's the one that's what will happen with that one is what we call hoisting. That one will move to the top when it is reading it. But you can add it being is, for example, now if it is var, okay, the typical example here is this. If this is var here, let me say var x here. Let's say var x here. Yeah, and I say console.log. No, console.log x. So let me put this one here. Okay, this is what I mean. And I say x here should be 5. So this will come like this. Sorry. Now, what do you think the answer is going to be for here?
5.
Undefined, because it will just move this y to the top. It's only after line 12 here that y is going to be 5. It's only after line 12 that our y is going to be 5. And see at line 9, this is our line 9 here, it is undefined because it doesn't have the knowledge of the assignments of this our assignment. It doesn't understand this x equals to 5 at this point. That's only for var. But if we change this thing to let, instead of giving you undefined here, if you change this one to let here, instead of giving you undefined, it will definitely throw error. Because at line 13, it is at his dead zone that you cannot access it. You can go over it again. I believe it can look convincing at the beginning, but yeah, if you go over it again, you get it. So that's different. If I use const here, the same thing is going to only happen with const and because the reason why you can't initialize const, you can't even put this will give you an error. You have to, when you are declaring a const, you have to initialize it to a value. It doesn't initialize to undefined. You have to give it its own value. So yes.
Okay, so Austin and temporary dead zone are kind of similar.
Yeah, hosting will always be considered, as in they go hand in hand. Hosting will happen because since we are declaring a variable, there will be the variable declared will be hosted. Just that its declaration will not be hosted. So that's just the difference. So they work hand in hand. So temporary dead zone only happens to variable declared with let and const.
Okay, so var will pass temporary dead zone. It will
Yes,
just come out as undefined.
var doesn't have a temporary dead zone. Yes, var doesn't have a temporary dead zone. Do we get it?
Yes, kind of.
Okay, you can pass out. Please tell us the extension. Please, I have to go now due to emergency. Okay,
Cohort,
can you
yes.
Baraka, can you post that extension name? Let me search for it here. The issue is that most of this extension will asking us that do we trust the owner or something like that, because it's a good way of stealing data. So let's just send the extension. So that's how it works. This moment. So that's what is a you can there's a link here, you can always go about it. It's always there's always one or two things that you know.
So
Now,
I can't see your screen now.
right now,
Yes, you
oh,
stop
I'm no
sharing
longer
your
seeing
screen. Yes.
it wasn't intentional, sorry. Okay, I've seen the folder. Folder. Okay, let me search for it.
It's an extension of VS Code, like extension on VS Code.
Yes, okay. So while we are waiting for that, we'll talk about what we mean by what's the difference between, or what do we mean by rest. Okay, I think this should be the correct one. What do we mean by
The
rest
second one,
and
the one that has the
spread
JS.
operator? What do we mean by rest and spread operator? Now, by my definition here, yeah, I've seen it. I'll, I'll later, I'll add it. So now, what do we mean by rest operator? The rest operator syntax allows the function to accept an indefinite number of arguments as an array. That means the arguments will be converted to an array. Let me show you a similitude of how we are using that in the code. I was working on something. Yeah, I think okay. This now. Let's see if I have a similitude here in my inputs. A similitude of what we mean by rest. Now, if you look now, let's go to let's go to let's search for it. guys. Or rest operator. So rest operator, if you have an argument, we know we have an argument. If I minimize this now and I open my if I open this, okay, I think it has okay. Oh, I have issue. I think recently I have issue installing VS Code. I will need to I will need to download it manually. I will need to download it manually. I want to download it. So I was having an issue recently with my extension. So now, for suppose now here we have this our function here. Let's have a name function rest. Let's put a rest now. We have it as a function. Now, if I said the symbol for rest, it is the symbol for rest is double is 3 column 3 dots. This is a symbol for rest. When you see something like this, it's new rest. So now I now say rest like this. Now let me now console.log rest here. If I console.log rest here, now when I want to invoke this function, normally, okay, let's start with this. Normally, we want to write a function. Then we want to write a function that adds 2 numbers together.
Is it just me?
No, it's not.
I think his network is bad. Oh.
Oh, I went off. I didn't know I went off. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. My video is on. I'm trying to put it off. Okay. So do you get the explanation I was making here?
No, sir.
Okay, now I was talking about if you want to add 2 numbers, you are going to put the parameter a comma b, then it's going to add it like this. 93, you're having 93 here. That's fine. Suppose I now had something like this. I have as many as possible like this. This is too much now. I can't start saying comma C, comma D, comma E, comma F, comma G, comma H. This, you can see the number of arguments I have is very much. So now I can use what we call rest operator. That means after A and B and C, put the remaining one in an array for me as the rest. So now instead of adding, let's first do something. Let's say console.log A. Let's console.log B also. And let's now console.log rest. What do we have? Now, if you look at it here, see what we have. We are having our A here is line 3. Our A is what? Okay, I think it has installed. So now our A here is what? 3. Our B here is what? 90. Now, because I say
Okay, click on Control Shift
huh?
P. Control Shift P
um
to launch it.
okay, yeah, I just don't want to. I just don't want to use it for now, sure. Kokaba.
Run on current file.
Oh, can you see? It's asking me to switch to pro account.
Maybe there's a function that is requesting for that. I don't know. But then it works.
Okay, just I'll try it later, sure. So now you can see it now. The rest is now coming as in form of array. So it basically in the document I have rest operator converts our arguments or our string to an array. The rest operator syntax allow a function to accept an indefinite number of arguments as an array. So now, so that means if you have 1 million arguments and you now use rest, it will convert every one of them to an array. We get it.
Yes.
Okay, thank God. I think this is uh, a bit clearer. But just try and the way I've explained the hosting and TDZ. If you don't understand, it's normal, or it can be maybe I didn't quietly explain better. Yeah,
I have a
but
question.
yeah, go ahead. The best you can do is
So
just read more about it.
call the
If you didn't, go ahead.
if you call the function, what will be the result? If you call function rest, what will be the display?
I just call it this. I call it on line 8. I'm telling it to console.log A for me. What's my A? My A here is 30. Then what's my B? My B here is 90. Now, what is my this rest that I put here? It's now all this after this is now from here to here, the remaining one. So it converts. If I convert everything, if I remove all and I say rest, if I consider rest, every one of them will be the you can see it start from 390 and other stuff like that. I can now say um rest map. If I say because it is now an array, let's say plus our I is equal to I plus okay. Now for example, now if I want to add this now, let's just do something like this. We can say let our sum should be this. Let sum should equals to 0 here. So we can now say our rest. We already know that our rest will be equals to our rest. We can now use for loop for I equals to for let I equal to 0 or something like this. We have this here now. We can now say or we can instead of using this, we can use for of let um let number. We can say let number of rest. Do we get it? Then we can now say our sum equals to sum plus number. Because we need to return it. We need to return it. I can just put it here. I need to return the sum. That's what I'm doing. If I return sum here, you can see now it's giving us 129. So this is a method of adding a number. Do we get it?
Yes.
Hello? So if
Yes.
you want to write it better as a senior, as a developer, it's still the same thing here. This is a better way of writing it instead of putting sum equals to sum plus uh, that. I guess this aspect is clear. So that's what we mean by REST operator. REST operator converts it converts our argument to an array of value. So now we can now use it. We can now anything you want to use. If, for example, now I don't no matter the number you pass, no matter the number you pass, if I pass a single number, it's still going to work because it will convert this to just an array that has three. So if I put 5 here, this one will always be any number you had, it will keep adding it. So this something like this is what Excel use under the hood. So yeah, I'm happy that one is clear. It's very clear also. So now what we mean by spread operator. Spread operator, the way you spread now, spread operator works opposite rest operator. It's the opposite. We said a rest operator converts our argument to an array, but a spread operator converts our array to an argument. I said to an argument, to numbers, or to how do I divide? Let me see how I define it here. It converts rest operator allow us to quickly copy all part of an array into an object of an. No, this is not the best definition I even want to use. I'm trying to see. So that's what spread operator was. For example, now if I say const, this is an array. Array here. This is an array. Now I declare it 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you look at it here, this is an array. If I want to spread it now, this is what we mean by spread operator. If I come here now, I'm now using that same 3 dots. I'm not using it. Let's see what we have. I'm going to log this. Sorry. And when you are writing, when you are talking and you are writing, a lot of things do happen. If you're writing something else and another thing, if you're saying something else, you're writing another thing. This is not where I am. I think I need to accept this. Wow, why is it like this? Okay. Now, if I check my console like this, now if you look at it now, it has taken it to like it has taken them as a single like a string. Now, if I now let me do type of, and let's see, can we have type of this? It's not possible. Yeah, so now you can see now it has spread this array here now into one. For if you look at my code here, the code I was doing then, I was saying that okay, let's just leave it like that. Yeah, that's React. So now, do you understand the difference between spread? Is a rest will convert it to an array, why a spread will convert it back to a normal number. Do we get it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to see if I can get spread operator here. So sometimes it allows an iterable such an array. Like for example now, look at this example now. We are saying sum of x plus y plus z, isn't it? Now, what happened here is that it will convert this one to 1, 2, 3. That's why we are having something like this. I think you can run it here also. So now, if you look at it here, what this one is basically doing now, if I now do this my sum, we are saying that console.log any this sum, anything being passed here, this sum here, this is our sum here. You should convert this to what? It's converting this to a it will convert it to a string. If I do console.log numbers. Sorry, if I do console.log numbers here, and I run it. Now it has converted to 1, 2, 3. So now it is this 1, 2, 3 that will now come here. 1, 2, 3. That's why we are having 6. Is that clear?
Yes.
So that's the difference between a spread and a rest operator. So most especially when a good application of rest is like this. It's just like maybe your input in your HTML. We are having this. Let me just write an HTML here. For example, now in your HTML we are having something like this input, right? We are having input like this, and say you can say our name is this, our ID is this. So now, because that is most essentially, it's a very good, it's an important topic in React. Now, when I now say, if I want to pass, maybe that's just basically React. If I want to pass another thing there, I can just do something like this. This is what we do in the React. Then pass rest. So anything, okay, we can do this like this. I think we can do it here also, like writing a function here. Now return, let's say, document dot okay, now let's do some normal React. Let's say const x equals document dot create element. We want to create element. We are still going to go to DOM. Okay, sorry. Let's say const x equals to document dot create element. We want to create an element here, which is p. Let's say create. That's the name of our function. Create an element. Now if you are creating an element here, we can say our now if I run this now in our code, let me just return x. You see something to have created. If I run create it now, if I run console.log create, I still don't get how I can use it. The best example I can remember is using React, but the some example is just the typical example of. This is not where I'm working. I have many browsers open. I'm not curious about it. So now, if you look at it here, okay, let me just save this. Do you have anything? This is still loading. Okay, now you can see now it has created elements. It has created this p elements. It has created this p elements. I can now say, let me now say s dot inner HTML should be equals to hello world. Maybe this is how it works here, but the way it works in first child, the way it works in other browser, we are having hello world is being created. I don't know of a best example to explain, but I believe with the additional example, everyone should supposed to understand what we mean by rest operator. I think for rest operator, but it's a very important topic. Okay, what's the question?
Okay, so the rest like a keyword, or you can use some other name?
No, it's not a keyword. You can use another name. We only because we are calling it rest. That's why we are returning it to, like say, joy. Joy here. I think this will also work. This will also work. We are no longer here. This one is taking us back. Okay, now you can see it still give us the same answer here. So whatever name you use for it is going to be, it's not a keyword. It's not a keyword. So 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. That's why we are having this 16 here. If I had 505 to it, you can see now it works. That's why we are using joy. So it's not necessary. It has to be rest. It can be anything, but because anyone would, because reading your code, someone else should be able to understand it. Once I put that rest, that person will know that I'm trying to copy something there. Do you have another question? Hello?
No question.
Okay. So now we go to this. The last thing we discuss here is what we mean by destructuring. What we mean by destructuring. Now, as we all know it, if we don't know destructuring in JavaScript, we know restructuring. That means, and when you say restructure, that means you should restructure some things, or destruction means that you should take something out of something. For example, now this is what we mean by destructuring. Destructuring. Sorry if my expression is not correct. Now, if I said const, I'm having this here, and I'm having something like this. No, I don't like this. Let me say 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I say A, B, that means I'm taking A. I want to take A and B from here. Who can tell me what from the structuring, what is the most likely to be my A and B?
1, 2.
Yeah,
1 and 2.
yes, 1 and 2. That means I'm taking this value from it. So it's going to be 1 and 2. That's what we have here. That's what we mean by destructuring. I'm taking this out of this. You are going to be needing destructuring if you are working on let me say you are fetching API. You are fetching a data from an endpoint. You always need you're always going to destructure. Let me also try and use the document. I just hope you're enjoying the class, because most likely, because I believe I don't need to cramp anything, but I just know the structuring. I don't know the structuring in JavaScript. Thank you. So let's take a look at this document here. So I always prefer you using W3 script. Now, if you can see it now, this is how the destructure. You can also destructure from object. Likewise, you can also use rest too. For example, now, if you look at this is just a typical example that we explained. We are saying const y z is equal to x here. So this our y here is going to be this. This our y here is going to be 1, and our z here is going to be 2. Do we get that?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So that's just one. I'm looking for a better example. Can we just go to, okay? Let's. You can also use rest. Also, you can see this is an example. They are not using rest here. Now see what is happening. You we already know that here our here is going to be for this, isn't it? Now others is anything after this A. That would be B2 and B2 and C3. Do we get that?
Mm. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what we mean by destructuring. When you move, when you are trying to take something out of the another one. Let me see destructuring in JavaScript. Another thing I think we forgot to have talked about yesterday was this topic switch statement when we are talking about it. I'm not trying to use. I'm trying to use.
So sorry, sir. The
Yes, ma'am.
restructuring now should be adding to
Structure.
the
Structure.
what?
The structure when you want to take something out of something.
I know, you talked about both restructuring too.
No,
So
I
I'm
was
not
saying no.
saying,
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
okay, I thought you talked about destructuring and restructuring.
No, I was trying to explain it in literary terms using restructuring.
Oh, okay, thank you.
There's not there's nothing like restructuring that I know of. Let me put it like that. Restructuring that I know of in JavaScript. Normally, if you want to access an item in an array, you will access them with their index. For example, now this viquat is 0 here. The viquat is 0 here. Is this one? The index of most tank here is um is 0. The index of this one is 1, while the index of this is 2. So for instance, this is a good way of doing it. This is a good way of doing it. This is how most people usually do it. But the better way is something like this. You can see now we are saying const this from this. So this is a better way of doing the structuring. What you are going to see, yes. This is just an example you're going to be seeing in this is just an example you are going to be seeing in somewhere like React if you are doing it here. Let me copy this. Okay. Now, for example, now you have to write a simple code. You are assigned to be in something like this. Suppose you have to write a simple code. You are just to write a simple function. Now, you have to write a function that's add, subtract, minus, divide, and everything. Yeah. Are you getting it? This is how React works. This is how it functions. Because React is about writing function like this. When we reach React, it's about writing something like this. That's about. It's just that it's not using the normal DOM. It's using a virtual DOM. So now, this is what we have here. Are you getting it? Now, if we have this here, we are saying we have add, subtract this, and this. We are now returning this. We are now returning this. So now, this what we are returning here is what is going to be displayed. For example, now, if I say, let's say console.log, calculate, let's say 5,8. Let's see what we have. Now it's giving us an array, isn't it? We are having an array because this is what we have here. Now, suppose now we only want to take in the addition alone. We only want to take addition alone. Then we are going to be doing something like this. Because we only want to take the addition alone. Normally, if this is React, is going to tell you okay, maybe because there's an error here. Let me add it again. If it is React, it's going to suggest it for you. Now, You can see here I'm taking I'm taking the add from here. So now if I come here now and I say console.log add, it's just giving me the addition alone. I can still come back here and I say subtract. See now it's giving me subtract also. Now before you ask this question, suppose I just come here instead of putting add and I say divide here, and I'm putting only divide. Will it work? Let's see if that works. Let's put a good number. Let's say 20 divided by 5 here. It should work. Let's see. Oh, it didn't work. So it works by index. Okay, it's an object that works without index. So it works by index. So for you to use, if you want to use now, suppose I don't want to write everything. I only want to write divide alone. This is what you are going to do. You are going to do something like this. I think, is it like this? This 1, 2, 3. This 1, 2, 3. You can see now it works. That means this first dot represent the first one. This one represent the second one. This one represent the third one. While this one represent the fourth one. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Isn't that comma in
Can you
front of
explain
the
this line again?
The reason the comma here is just that if I leave it like this, what I want to do is that I want to go to the fourth one. If I leave it like this, if it's inside an array, it is going to be structure based on its index. So if I do it like this, it's not going to divide. It's not by this name. If I write hello here, you can see our hello is adding because the first one here is what? Is add. If I say comma I here, instead of it, so this one is going, if I say I here, it's going to subtract. We're having 15. So this one now, it can be anything. It can be anything. But suppose I don't want to write all this. I don't want to write, I only want to go to the last one. You can start using comma. This comma is representing each and every one of them. It's representing this. It's a good way if you do not want to use something. But if you still want to use it, for example, now you can use, you can use something like this. If you use something like this, it's also work. I can also log this, it will give me addition. Also work. So if you want to go to maybe I want to go to the third one, I can do 1, 2. Then I know that the next one is multiply. So if I use this now, so it's going to multiply. Do we get it?
Yes, but
Hello.
that what topic is that?
It's still under the structuring. It's just I'm just giving an example of how it works in React. This is just a normal function. But now you can see now instead of you to write like 3 or 4 function now, you can return as many as possible here. So now this one now, we now want to destructure. Remember that this is what is going to return. You can see that's how we are having this, returning this. So in our value now, you can now destructure. This what we are having here is we are trying to destructure.
Okay, thanks.
So you can always, if you don't need anyone, you can always use comma, or you can always use comma to represent them. This is very important when you are going in, when you are using that also. This is how React typically works.
Please, I want to ask
Job.
a question.
Please do.
Okay, from the work you just did now, I can see that 5 and 8 in the bracket, 5 came before 8, and from your calculation, I see that JavaScript took the higher number when it wanted to subtract. he subtracted the lower number from the higher number. That means he subtracted 5 from 8, even though 5 was in the bracket before 8. So I want to know, does it give a kind of precedence for the numbers or something?
No, check it here. See it here. -3. It's -3 here.
Okay, I couldn't see that clearly.
Okay, it's -3. It's only now if I want to do it, if I want to check for that minus, I can just come here now. You can't use a duplicate. You can't use something of duplicate, Sha. So now if I do here now, it's going to give me the subtraction stuff. So it's giving me 3. We are saying add, subtract. The second one. This is the first one. This is the second one. Wait. It's also give us the how we having 15. Okay, sorry, 20 minus 15. Yeah, it's right. You can see here 20 minus 15 here. It is 20 minus 5 is going to give us 15. That's why we have this 15. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
The other thing I would also like us to talk about is how do you destructure an object?
Sorry, Malik. Is this still JavaScript or I can see .js? I don't understand.
Were you in yesterday class?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, that was what we did yesterday. I just used the name to name the file.
Okay.
Other thing I want to talk about before we have our time running. The most important topic we are here to talk about, but I don't think we can start it today again because it's a very, very important topic that I think should take our time and should take our energy. Now, this is an object. We all know how to write an object. Object is what we are going to be seeing mostly when we are writing. You see, most of your code, most of everything, they will use object because object is versatile. Object can contain anything. You can put an array inside an object. You can put an object inside an object. You can put a string inside an object. You can put and it's easier to access because you are going to be accessing them by their key. Why JavaScript? Why in array? You can only access them. Why in array? You can only access them by their index. In array, you can only access them by their index. But in JavaScript, in objects, you can access them by their you can access them by their key or by their property. For example, this now, I'm copying this. If I come here, console.log if I come here and now say Vike1 dot okay now this just don't like okay, this doesn't have the TypeScript environment. So now if I say console.dot our type here, okay, that's the suggestion. So now it will definitely give us the it will definitely give us the now it's going to give us the type here as our car. So that's how we access objects in an array. But how do we destructure? Let's see. Okay, I think we have talked this. Yeah, we are on a good way. So that's just it, Sha. My vehicle. Okay, now if you look at this registration here now, okay, I think that should work also. Suppose here now, I'm coming here and I say const. Let me this normal, this is React environment. Let me say vehicle. You know, these are vehicle here, and I want to destructure. I want to take in the type. Let's see if it works. If I do type here, let's see if it works. Vehicle is not defined. Okay, vehicle one, not vehicle. Yeah, it's work. Oh, this is how we destructure from an object. Now I've taken the type from here. So if I take the brand here, it's still going to work. So if I say console.log brand here, it's still going to give me this fault. So now, if for example, I was given a very large object, and I only say that okay, it should just tell us, what it just tell us the it should just tell us the year the vehicle is being made. So instead of us start writing everything, you can just destructure it, use const or something like const like this, and I'm going to turn it to variable and vehicle one. So anything you want to anything you want to take from this one now, it will be there. For example, now I want to take the color. So now I can just say console.log the color here. So it's going to give us spread. So that would mean by destructuring in an object also. You remember this is an object. Remember this sign. This sign is the sign of an object. So that's how it works. Do you have any question about that?
Okay, can you destructure in line 51? Can you include maybe brand and year together with the color?
Yes. Anything you can, everything you want to, it will still work out. Anyone you want to.
Okay, you don't need to separate it like comma, like you need to arrange. You don't
Yes,
want to call the color.
yes, and
Just
this one is not. You remember like I said before, in array, the way you locate an item in an array is by their index. You use their index, that is 0, the first one that comes. That's why it's very difficult. The first one that comes, the second one, that's how you locate it. But in objects, you use their key, all their properties. This is the property. Sorry, use their property. Is this property that you are going to use to get this value? You don't need to use their. So I don't need to put. I don't need to start putting something like this, because I'll be using their property. If I put something like this, it will throw error. It doesn't understand what this is. Or if I put, let me say, mango. Now let me consider log mango. Let's see what we have. You can see now mango is what? Undefined, because there's no mango there. Do you get it? So do we get it? So that's how it works, because mango is not there. That the reason why it's not throwing an error is because we have initialized it to be we have it has become a variable. That's why. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
yes, yes, sir.
Okay, let me throw this one. This is a very important topic that I think I was using it now. Suppose we have something like this. In an object, how do we destructure it? Object in an object, how do we destructure it? Now, for example, now if you come here now, I'm cleaning all this. Yes, let me delete this also. Now, it is registration, right? Registration, but that registration too. Inside that registration, I want to take in I want to take something out. I want to take in the city. So this is how you do it. Now I'm destructuring an object from an object. If I console city now, it will give me the correct answer. You can see. So now from now in an object, I'm also destructuring an object. So now I can also destructure color. It doesn't stop it. I can also, after this, I can also destructure color. Yeah. If I control city plus color. You can see now. It works.
Sorry, can you log out registration?
Huh?
Registration.
Registration, yes. Okay, if I yes. if I consider, if I bring out registration out of it, to just give me the object. But if I want to bring some, now this one is not going to, because you have destructured it, I have to remove this. I have to remove this like this and put something like this. So this, if I put registration here now, it will destructure the object. It will bring out the object on its own. You can see now, it's telling us an object.
When you said you can destructure inside an like object, so like when you are included registration, the colon city, like what if you log out registration? Will it bring out just city as the
For
registration
example,
object?
it's bringing, if you are now, if you want to destructure registration, if you want to bring out the registration object on its own, everything inside the registration, this is how you do it. But suppose now it's only country you want to bring out from the registration. You are not bringing out anything aside country. So now we are going to destructure it again. And this is how you are going to destructure in an object again. Now here now, I will now say country. So now here is now coming out as a country. So now if you consider country here, it is going to be USA. So now I'm not destructuring object from object. I can destructure state.
Please,
Huh?
like, I want to try to understand this. Can you like type registration inside the console?
Inside the console. Yeah, like this.
Yes,
Like this.
yes, registration. Yes.
Now if you look, like, it's because yes, as because you have tried to
Oh,
destructure it now. You are going to be having error because you have like, it's like you have taken something like this, you have done something like this, you have done something like this. So there's nothing like registration again. It's only city, state, and country. So that's why it's not divine. Do you get it?
I get it, but what if I don't want city, state, and country? I only want city and state to come out for registration. How am I
That's what
supposed
I
to do that?
just the same way. Now you just come here and you call this, have this country, comma city. That's it now. Then if you say country dialog, country and comma city, comma yeah, you got comma city. It will work now. I've destructured both city. You can see USA and Austin. It will work. And now I've only destructured only country and city from it. Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear, but then that's not what I'm trying to get actually.
Okay, what do you want to bring out?
Okay, like when you log out registration from the object, you get city, state, and country, right?
Yes.
But then I don't want the registration to output city, state, and country. I want it to output just city and state whenever I call registration. How can I do that?
You want it to, whenever you, I don't understand. So whenever
Log
you,
out registration instead of
yes,
taking the whole property inside this registration. I want it to log out just city and state. Just two
that
of
means you want
the
to,
one
you want to delete, maybe you want to delete country.
yes, something like that.
Yeah, there's a property like now. If you are bringing this out now, for example, now I'm bringing out registration alone here. Yeah, there's no comma here, and this one is not here. Now I'm bringing registration out here now alone. This is all I'm having here. I'm saving it. If I console log this, I'll have this here. The best thing you can do is delete. How do you delete an object? I forgot it. So let me just say how to delete. Like I say, is it okay? How to delete? Not that you delete the object. How to delete an item and object. You don't need to memorize a lot of things. That's what you have to do. Even if you are writing an interview, you always allowed to. If you are writing a code interview, you're always allowed to Google, or you are allowed to start something. You don't need to. You don't need to like cram everything off. And it's been a while I delete. I know there's a delete operator here. There's a delete operator.
Yes, Mr. Malik took us on that. I think last week, deleting,
Yeah. So
adding.
yeah, if you say delete registration, registration dot state or dot country. Now, if you console dot log it again, you can see now our registration that we don't have the country again. So that's how you work. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Tomorrow, by God's grace, I'll walk us through a small. I will try. Yes, I'll try and get prepared. Inshallah. Walk us through a small project on JavaScript, because all these concepts is not enough. The most important thing is to be able to apply it in one way or the other in real life, or to do it on the project. So, but the issue is that I don't know if I at Malik will be free. We can also fix another weekend, because I think we still have JavaScript next week. Sorry, please can you confirm? Do you still have JavaScript next week
Yes, next week is last week.
for JavaScript bar?
For this phase, yes, JavaScript.
Yes.
Okay, if next week is the last week for JavaScript, then that's okay. We might not really need to have another. Oh, we might not really need to have another a weekend class. But let's see. We need to talk about these remaining three topics. DOM manipulation, asynchronous and synchronous action, events, callbacks, and promise. As it and wait, these are things you'll be needing. You'll be needing the DOM when you are working on them. If you are working on React, you'll be needing the DOM. You need to manipulate the DOM. That means what we mean by DOM is that, okay, we are already in part 7. You need to change the content of your HTML. You need to change it. You need to know the DOM. Now, if you are fetching data, for example, if you are fetching data from Google, it takes some time. It will take some time for you to fetch the data. So you need to, it has to wait for some minutes. So what happened? And JavaScript is a single thread. What I mean a single thread is that you can only do one thing one thing at a time. You can't do two things together. So what will JavaScript do? JavaScript will take that thing away and put it somewhere. So when that thing finishes, then we'll now take it back and put it on a score stack. So these are very important topic, because before we dive deep into React. So I'll talk with Abu Malik. Is that we after the project, maybe a weekend, or it will be next week. So we'll discuss about these remaining important topics. With that being said, if you have any question, please let me know. Please, I guess we have issue as regards the issue of as regards the issue of hosting and temporary dead zone. Before you sleep tonight, try and read about it. It's very important, because you have a better concept. You can read that article. I'll post my slide now. You can read that. Let me share it now. Read that article, and if you read it, definitely I believe it, you are going to understand it, so that it will be easier for you. Because if you don't read it today, trust me, you are going to forget it tomorrow. And that's how it is. Not a course, but that is how it works. But just that you don't need to memorize a lot of things. So do we have any other question before we call it a day?
Please, Isia, can you share this what's it called now? The file. Okay, you just did, right?
This slide bar?
Yes.
Okay, I'll post it now.
Please, what's the article are you talking about, please?
What do you say?
The article you said we should read about.
Yeah, it's talking about temporary dead zone and hosting for people who don't really understand, because I believe that's just one of the topic that it took us for so long to discuss.
Have you dropped it before?
What?
Have you dropped the article before?
No, it's inside the slide. You will find the link to it in the slide.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. What I'm only saying is that try and read about it today, so that it will be easier for you. It will be easier for you to if you have an issue with it, you will have a better understanding of it when if you revise it on your own. What I'm saying is, do not make it till tomorrow. Tomorrow it will be too late. You have a lot of things to start thinking about. So that's what I'm trying to explain.
Please share the link to the article too.
Yes, it's inside the slide. If you look at it here, I said I reference a link down here. So that's where it is. And also, I think this one thing, you should also try and any concept that you understand, try and write about it. It's when you start writing about it that you are going to that you are going to know better if thoroughly you understand it when you start writing about it. So, for example, now we have talked about hosting, we talk about REST operator, spread operator. I think one of the topic you can write about is, let's say, for example, this REST operator. I think it's easier. Write something about it. Look at what others have written. Write your own. You will never forget that topic again. So that's one better way of understanding concepts in JavaScript. So thank you everyone for joining the class. I believe some people were so we have delayed some people here. So let me just check my conversation before I end the class. Sir, can you please dislike? Okay. It's past 7, sir. Samuel Justina, I think you are my timekeeper, so I won't forget you. I've always been my timekeeper. So that's fine. So thank you everyone for joining. See you tomorrow by God's grace.
Thank you very much for today's class. Good night.
Okay. Yeah, good night, everyone.